Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Unhinged Bookcast, a podcast hosted by Jess and LJ, who love all things fantasy books. I'm LJ.
And I'm Jess, and we're happy to have you back again.
Whether we're deep diving into thoughts and theories or just writing the vibes, we love discussing our current reads with each other and now with all of you.
Tonight we have finished book 2 from the Blood and Ash series by Jennifer Armentrout, chapters 23 through the end of A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire.
So if you are not sure why I am about to jump out of my seat with excitement, then pause, finish the book, and then come back.
This is our first time reading this series, so this will be another spoiler-free series as long as you've read through our current reading section.
Speaking of which, you can now discuss with us spoiler-free chapter by chapter in our club on the Fable app.
Also, please do all the things: liking, following, subscribing on all of our platforms.
These are romantic fantasy books that are intended for adults. We will be talking about war, gore, and no pants dances.
So this is your content warning. Our discussions are not suitable for those little listening ears. We hope you are all reading along with us, and we cannot wait to hear your thoughts and theories as well.
There's so much to talk about, and I'm going to jump out of my seat, like I said. So let's get started.
Let's get started.
So, chapter 23, but a real quick recap.
Sure.
So, we left off. She wakes up all cuddled up to Castile, and she's horn dogging it up with her emotions, right? Castile wakes up, nearly blacked out eyes, hungry, angry, with a side of horny himself. He feeds in one way, but not the other. The commotion causes Crean to barrel through the doors, although he's confused that he may have had the wrong idea of what or who was going down. She gets Castile out of his trance and he walks out of the room. So that's where we're picking up in chapter 23.
All right. I love that recap. Basically, Kieran takes Poppy to go for a walk on the beach or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're talking about what's going on.
Bay.
Yeah. And they're kind of talking. She, of course, has questions. She always has questions, which Kieran loves answering her questions.
I love their banter. Is my favorite
too.
in any book I've ever read.
I know. I'm loving it too. So she's asking Kieran basically like what just happened. And he says that Cass's actions were like a mixture of him being hungry and him also feeling like Kieran in that moment was a threat to Poppy.
Yeah.
And Poppy's really worried about him, like how hungry she felt that he was. Right. And Kieran's like, yeah, he's hungry, but he's nowhere near the edge. If he had been, then he would have ripped my head off, literally. And you would currently be ascending. And tells her that like they can become incredibly possessive in extreme circumstances when they get to the edge. There.
And they only want to feed off of one person.
Yeah.
When they start to care about
it becomes far too intimate for them to feed off of anyone but like their person. It's not something they want to do. Yeah. So Kieran then like kind of explains how he was probably having a nightmare, was startled awake, he was hungry, so that's why he was so out of his mind. And the way that she woke him up with her emotions also flooding into his system.
And I told you that at the end of it, that I was pretty sure it had to deal.
You called it.
I think she was feeding her emotions into him because she was touching him, remember? Like his bare chest or something.
Yeah, you totally called that part.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on to 24 unless you've got more for 23. Sorry.
Nope, that's all I got.
Okay.
So she's talking with Kieran and Quentin. And they start talking about how they have to go over like the Skotos Mountains and just like the mist that surrounds them, and about how the mist is magic itself and it acts as like an alarm system for who's coming and going.
But there's no Craven in this mist.
But there's no Craven in this mist. Yeah. Yep. And at some point, Mr. Alistair comes up and was it him or is it?
It was Alistair.
Okay. So Alistair
originally, he's the one who tells her about this. But go ahead. Yes.
Okay. No. I had to make sure for a second. So he brings up that there is this thing called the joining, which is basically a blood swap that would tie her life to Kieran's, giving her a longer life, and that it would also make him duty bound to her as well as his steel.
Yes. Yeah.
but I know you have more than that. So
A little bit more. I mean, that was definitely like the get to it
to
details.
get to it details, yeah.
The part that I found funny, so he's having this conversation with her, and he's like, I know you were sheltered and that you know very little about the Atlanteans and their customs, but there's this thing called the joining. And she's like, tell me about it. And he goes, oh, goodness, this is going to be an awkward conversation. I'm
Like
so
as if
glad I
he's
didn't
like,
have to have it with my own
that was
daughter.
shit. Yeah, he's like
It's
he's such
like
like
the
a
talk,
it's
basically.
like the sex talk. And it's like
Yeah.
this guy that's like very father figure-y or whatever. It's
Yeah, and he was
hilarious.
super awkward feeling about telling her all this, but he does. And then, yeah, so apparently, like Leslie was saying, when an elemental is bonded to a woven, the elemental's new partner slash spouse, um, and that elemental man or woman and their bonded woven will all take part in a ritual where the three of them, or four if the spouse also has a bonded woven,
Mhm.
they all share blood, and the woven will then become like bonded as well to the partner or spouse.
Yeah.
Um,
Which gives, if it was a mortal per se, it would give
yes,
them that same
they would
life
live
length.
as long as the woven that they're bonded to. Yes. But then this is where Alistair's like, this is awkward. He says how it can become quote unquote quite intimate.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
he says how it's an old practice though, and often is not practiced anymore, and that caste doesn't really stand for the he doesn't really care much for all the old customs. Um, However, with her being only half Atlantean, it would be beneficial to her because then she would be able to live for as long as Kieran does. And then he also says how woven tend to be more, not archaic, but they tend to like holding on to those older traditions, and so there's a chance that Kieran might say this is something that we need to do.
Yeah.
So, yes, quite interesting.
Where it could lead, nobody knows.
We don't know
Guess
yet,
we'll maybe find out. We're not sure.
I guess.
We'll circle back or we won't. We'll find out.
Who knows?
Chapter 25. So this is all in that we're still having another conversation with Alistair.
Hmm.
We found out that he is a glorious 800 years old.
Yeah.
And so Poppy is still asking about the joining because she is a small sheltered child.
Yeah.
And she says, quote, if the joining can extend a mortal's life, then why didn't King Malik do that with Isbeth, his mistress, instead of making her a vampire? Or wasn't he bonded?
Hmm.
And then so Alistair basically tells her it's because the woven wouldn't do it. And then he says, quote, and the reason I know his bonded woven would have refused if asked, it's because I was his last. And it was
Hmm.
I who alerted the queen to what Malik had done, shattering an unbreakable oath. So he like
Yeah.
basically went against the king.
Yeah. So, see, I really wonder, and I think I said this last episode, or maybe it was when we very first met Alistair. I don't trust him. I haven't trusted him from day one. I think he has a secret agenda of some sort. I mean, he kind of like accidentally helped create the first vampire by telling Queen Ilona about what Malik was doing, forcing his hand basically. And um yeah, because many believe that the queen found out about the king's affair with the mortal woman, which is what caused the queen to supposedly poison the mortal woman, Isbeth. And
Yeah.
then that's why she was dying, and that's why the king went crazy and turned her vampire. I mean, like it started with Alistair. I don't know. He also
I don't
can't
know.
keep his mouth shut.
So yes, I love. Okay, so I'm on kind of the opposite end of this. So do you
Really?
remember? Yeah. So do you remember Leslie Jordan?
No.
Okay, he was like the old gay dude, and he and like during like COVID and everything, when like the world was locked down,
Uh-huh.
he like posted these little little videos, and one of them was like him laying sideways on a couch. He goes, "Well, shit, what y'all doing?" or something like that.
I do
And
not
he's
remember
one of
that.
my favorite people. He passed away not I've probably been a couple years now, but I have always loved that man. He's hilarious. And that's I'll send you some TikToks later, but he's
Okay.
so funny. And that's exactly who this guy reminds me of. Just like the gossipy little old man, but like just like you want to be best friends with him. That's what he makes me think of.
Oh, that's so funny that
So this could
you
go either one
are
way or
not
the other.
suspect of him or suspicious.
I mean, I'm not, no, but I do think that he'll like screw up, but not mean to. Does that make sense?
Oh, I think he's got a totally evil agenda.
Oh,
He's
okay.
too good to be true.
You think so?
I've thought so from day one. He's too nice. He's one of the first people that comes into the story, and he's all nice to her and sweet and tells her anything she wants to know.
Well, then what do you think about the redheaded friend of his, Emil?
I don't know if I trust him either.
Okay. I'm just curious. That's all.
Anything connected with Alistair, I'm not trusting. I just don't. I think he's a snake. We'll find out. Maybe I'm completely wrong,
We'll
but I'm
find
saying
out.
the thing. I've learned to just say it when I feel it. So I'm feeling it and I'm saying it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know you've got a lot more for this
Oh wow,
chapter, so
yeah, I
you
do.
go
Sorry.
ahead.
Okay, cool. Okay, so moving forward, we then learn, and I truthfully do not remember how or when we learn about this, what the conversation was, but we learn more about the whole quote unquote going over the edge of hunger, because how Kieran had told Poppy, if he goes over the edge, you'll know it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she learns more about that. So basically, if they don't feed off another Atlantean for too long, they become worse than the Ascended, basically dead inside and consumed by bloodlust, like a Craven. The difference is that they don't like hollow out and eventually wither away like the Craven. They're not like zombie vampires like the Craven. They actually become stronger with every feeding, but it's like a disease that very few come back from, even once they're like feeding again and all that, and they're not over that edge. They're gone. They're
Yeah.
dead inside, but very dangerous at that point. So then she tells him that she wants him to take her blood, that she knows he needs to feed and he wants him to do it from her. And then I kind of liked how she admits that she's not doing it because um, she needs to or because it's some duty of hers, but because she truly cares for him. And he agrees, but says he won't do it alone, not after the last time and not after having not fed in so long. So at first she's uncomfortable with that, then she figured it's probably for the best and agrees, and that's how that chapter ends.
Chapter 26. Of course, that audience is going to be Kieran.
Of course.
So basically, he's there to monitor her pulse and basically make sure that the baby gets fed without draining Poppy. And at some point during this feeding, she connects to Castile's thoughts and then realizes it once Kieran has left the room that she is still connected to his thoughts, not his thoughts, his emotions. I apologize. Which I mean could be your thoughts too, but and then I don't know about you, but she gets another handy thank you. And then
Uh-huh.
he has a blowout in his pants. And I'm
Which
not talking
apparently
about a
is
hole.
the first time ever since he was very young or something. I don't know, that part made me chuckle. I will actually say though, um, this was possibly my favorite chapter. I
Really?
don't know, call me weird, but this was a good chapter. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
All right.
Okay.
Chapter 27. They're going to go meet the stable hand because they're going to go ride horses, right?
He's gonna
And
teach her to ride.
yeah. And so there's this wolf in there, right? And so I have a quote.
Colton.
It says, Colton. Yes, I didn't have his name, but I have it.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, quote, the wolven took my hand and his eyes widened. Through the connection, I felt his surprise once more. There it is again, that feeling of static. He laughed, still holding my hand as he shook his head. Perhaps it is you, Penelope. Having felt nothing, I said, I'm not sure about that. He said, I don't know. You feel as if you're full of energy. Heard you ascended from Atlantia. He squeezed my hand and then let go as he looked at Castile. I imagine it's from a powerful line. Castile tilted his head and as my brow puckered. I believe she is. So this was like, so before this, it was what? It's happened to Castile. It's happened to Kieran. And I think that's it
I think that's
before
it
this.
so far, yeah.
But yeah, so then, they get on their horses or whatever, and they're riding along and they see all these guardians training. And they are the elite Atlantean armies. They are the last of their bloodlines, and they are all women.
Yep, the guardians of the Atlantean armies.
Yeah. Close enough. I was close.
Yep.
What else?
And she says that there's like a tall blonde in these guardians that sticks out to her. I don't think we ever even learn her name, but I just feel like she's coming
We do.
back.
She's
Did we?
Yeah, she's
towards
up
the end.
on the rise at some
Oh,
point.
you're right.
I
And I
want to
actually
say
think
it's
I may
like
have thrown her
north
name
or
in there.
something.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
But these
she's
are
there.
also, these guardian women are the last of their kind. They're a bloodline born into a long succession of warriors who defend Atlantia and will do so till their last breath. And they're all women. They actually train the other warriors, and there's about 200 of them left. But they say how each one of the guardians is the equivalent of 20 trained warriors. And then Cass says how they're the only ones of the warrior bloodlines left, except supposedly Poppy, because they suggest that she might also be part of the warrior
Yeah.
bloodline.
Yeah.
That's all I other house. That is all else I have for that
We are
chapter.
tongue-tied
Damn,
tonight.
we are.
Chapter 28. So they get down to Spespa's End
Mhm.
and they meet up with Kieran and his sister Vanetta. And when doing the handshake thing, she also feels the static.
Yeah.
So then they start like talking about this and they talk about how all of them has felt the static at some point when first touching her or whatever. And Kieran at some point mentions about how she smells different. And then Poppy
I
says
think
something
he
like, you
straight up says that it's like dead. She smells
no,
like
he
death.
he says different. And then she says, I
Okay.
believe you said I smell like
Uh-huh.
death or something like that. And then so Vanetta's saying something and she's like, well, you don't smell like death, but you do smell old.
hmm
And then Castile says something about how her blood tastes old. He says,
hmm
quote, your blood tastes old to me, old in a way that is rich, powerful for someone who is not a fully blooded Atlantean.
hmm
It's probably the bloodline.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then also in this little, I just thought this was hilarious because this is something my husband would do to me. In front of company or in a nice restaurant or something. So Vanetta, when she invites them in, she gives them some lemonade. And Poppy says, thank you. And Kieran says, don't be polite. It weirds me out. Like that would, my husband would do something like that.
And then like how they were talking about how like Vanetta can't cook and Poppy's like, it's
Yeah,
okay. I never learned how to cook.
I like Vanetta.
I do too. I
She's
like
cool.
her. She's I like them. I like them all. I
Yeah,
love this little group here.
I
It's
do too.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have crash bang boom
Yep.
and they all run out and a roof has fallen on Beckett
Yeah.
and he is very super injured. Um trying to ease his pain is what she wants to do until the healer can get there.
Mhm.
So, quote, something different happened the moment my fingers sank into Beckett's soft fur. The tingling sensation in my palms ramped up as if static danced over my skin and my hands heated. The wolven twitched, whimpering quietly as a muted glow appeared between my fingers, peeking through the strands of fur before washing over my hands. So,
Um, yeah, so she was trying to heal. She was trying to take his pain away enough that he could shift back into human form.
but all this like tingling as soon as she touched him.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't even like she was had to think about any happy memories or anything like that.
Yeah, it just immediately flowed from her into him.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
And then she heals him. Kids like, what's going on? And then everybody's looking at her because she's freaking glowing.
Yeah.
This silver light.
Like the moon.
Yep, like the
Which it started
moon.
with just her hands, and all of a sudden it was like her whole body.
Yeah. So basically, everybody's standing around. Everybody sees this. Everybody's emotions are going crazy because like the whole
hmm
town's here, obviously, and just seeing this and is like freaking out.
hmm
So she goes off with Castile, and he's like, dude, we really gotta like get you crowned, right? So these people don't try and kill you. So we're gonna get married ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, we need to be married like by the following night because he's
Yeah.
worried because she reached out like I actually can't remember if she did it on purpose or if her powers just reached out on their own because they do that in crowds. But one way or another, she felt the emotions of the crowd around her and where there probably should have been like awe and excitement and gratitude coming from them. It was
Mm-hmm.
more than that. It was like
Fear and
fear and anger and hatred coming
yeah.
from the crowd. And she shares that with Cass, and he says it's probably because of the whole soul eater thing, how
Mm-hmm.
empaths were considered soul eaters, and they don't like that.
Yeah.
So he's like, I need to get you wetted up here so that they don't try and kill you. You need to be
A
truly
different kind of
connected to me.
shotgun wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then he also says how he wants to be married before he presents her to his parents so that they have less opportunity to try and stop it.
Well, shit. What are y'all doing?
And we're back. So, chapter 30. We are back in the dining hall, and she's feeling all the emotions without really opening her senses again.
Mhm.
Same kind of thing. People are not liking her. She's not digging it. So, I believe this is when Jasper comes in, but we don't really know who he is yet. And
Yeah.
so, Castile goes to go
That's the
speak.
first time tonight.
That's the first one tonight. We should like tally them later.
We should.
He goes to go speak to him, but she doesn't know who that is yet. So Alistair comes over and she's talking to her and how he wants them to wait for the wedding before, like, to wait to meet the parents, right? Before getting married. And she basically gives her 2 cents that she doesn't want their judgment or anyone else's judgment to cloud her thoughts when she gets married. And I said, yes, ma'am. It has nothing to do with anybody else's thoughts and feelings. It's about yours. And I loved that.
Yeah, me too.
So then Castile's like, let's go out. Like, we have time, like we'll be expected back for dinner, but let's go. I want to show you something. And then so he takes her to this heavily guarded poppy field.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's like camo guards or something like that. Like they're all hidden.
Basically very hidden.
Yeah. So it sounds
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know. But anyway, so they go past that and then they go past these, I want to say blue and yellow, I think it was, flowers, fields.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go find this little cave entrance and they go in and it's like pitch black, right? And he's telling her about all the tunnels and the caverns and how they used to, his brother Malik and Kareen used to go in all these tunnels. And at one point, like they tried to map them out
Mm-hmm.
and they tried to find the one that goes under the Sotos Mountains, but they were never able to find the tunnel that goes under that mountain. And I thought that was interesting. And I feel like that's going to come up at some point. And I'll kind of come back to it later, but I have a small theory on that one.
Okay.
But basically we get to where we're almost to the pool and we have a tingle watch, which we have a couple, and it's these feelings she gets them with, which I think is funny because she gets them with Castile, but also before like the Wolven come and stuff like that. She gets these shivery sense of awareness, is what she calls it. So, quote, a shivery sense of awareness passed between us, one nearly impossible to ignore as we stood there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, they take a swim, okay, in the hot tub. And I have, quote, I don't want to pretend I'm Poppy and you're Castile, and this is real.
Mm-hmm.
And then they play a very strange version of Marco Polo in the cave pool. And that's all I have about that.
That's basically all I have too. I put like, there's a hot springs and things get hot, not because of the temperature of the water.
So chapter 31, after this pool party for two, they are headed back for supper. And the whole dining area is just awkward towards her. And Alistair is just our gossip king, man.
Well, shit. What are y'all doing?
Anyway, so but he decides to let her know that apparently Castile was already promised to another. Dun, dun, dun. That's all I have on this.
See, this is what I'm saying. Why? And he says it in such a like, oh, you didn't know? Oh, let me tell you about this. And they all talk about how he's
like embarrassed to like be saying.
Oh, I think he's the best actor in the world. I think he is totally doing it on purpose.
I can't wait to see who wins this one out.
I do too.
I hope it's me just because it'll be funny as shit. Just like because what I picture is hilarious. Like I said, it's Leslie Jordan. That's who I picture. Like in my head, he talks with that weird Southern accent too. Not weird, but we are mountain people. We don't have accents like that.
Yeah.
And so it's hilarious to me. But yeah, so he's promised to another.
Yes.
So moving on.
That's all I have too.
Yeah.
So
chapter 32, that's what we're on here. So all the tea gets spilled in front of everyone in the dining room at this point, because now everybody's involved in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of a big performance.
Well, and can I just put in there real quick, because we didn't
Yeah.
really hit on this. She's realized after she healed Beckett, so because this is dinner that next day, she realizes that she can use her powers, like she can feel
I
people's
think this
emotions.
is dinner that night.
Yeah, okay, maybe dinner that night.
Yeah.
But she realizes that she can now feel people's emotions without trying to feel them. So she knows what, like, she can still block it out, but she doesn't have to reach out at all. So she knows what everybody in the room is thinking about her, basically.
Yeah.
So go ahead, continue.
No, you're good. So basically we find out because Castile's just like, I don't give a shit who knows about my tea. So he was supposed to marry a woman that was set up by his father, but he never agreed to it. And this is Alistair's great grandniece.
I think so, yes.
Okay, I think that's what it was. But still in line with Alistair.
Fiona.
Yeah. And so then Jasper comes to sit, and he also seems like he's just like, I want to hear this tea. I want to be like Jasper. Like this. I do too. And so that he confirms that he confirms that he is the head and the oldest of the Wolven.
Oldest? I swear it's not.
Yep. And he is.
I'm gonna look this up for a second.
You go ahead.
I have to. I'm so sorry. Not that I don't trust you, but I swear.
Sorry. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Yeah. See, they literally, I haven't found the exact part where it says that he's old, that Alistair's older than Jasper. But on this part in chapter 39, page 393 for me, it says Jasper's head snapped in Alistair's direction. You are overstepping, Alistair. You do not speak for the entirety of our people. The older Wolven, meaning Alistair, burned with rage beside me. I don't know if it truly matters or not, but Alistair is older
my
than
father
Jasper.
is nearly 600 years old.
Yes, and Alistair's
right there. Okay.
800. Okay, cool.
Okay, so now we know. We have it now. So, okay. So anyway, so Jasper is the head.
Yes, but not the oldest.
And Kieran's dad. Basically, Castile has to go back in. Alistair has to talk to him again, right? Because Alistair's always got to talk to him. And then Corinne's like, I'll take her back to her room or whatever. And then she's in there. She's doing all the just like the overthinking shit. I feel that so I'm sure you might have put more, but like I put that she's basically overthinking shit. And then she opens the door and realizes it's not locked and she's not caged. And apparently, like, we don't have high standards, but that does it for her. And because she decides she loves him. So
yeah, that's
not
it.
Being,
that was the key
not
to her
being
heart.
Caged, not being locked in a room apparently is, yep. The bar is real low, man.
I mean, after having been caged basically for 18 years, I can imagine that was a pretty big deal to her.
Let's see. So chapter 33. So Castile comes back to the room and they just dish it out, man. They just go for it.
Gosh.
And
who deserves who and what, and lack of trust and feelings, etc., etc.
So he's like, just ask me whatever the hell you want, bitch. Okay, that's
basically
not really what he says, but essentially
he was much nicer about it. But yes.
Yes. And then so he just spills the beans for any and all questions that she asks of him. And they pretty much say everything but I love you to each other, which is the shit I hate.
Same. This drove me insane. I'm like, communicate. Be adults.
Yeah.
Goodness.
And then let's see, who is it? Emil knocks on the door.
No, it's Delano. One way or another. Somebody.
Okay.
Important.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see it in your note right here. It says then Emil knocks on the door
Emil. Look,
mid-argument and says the sky is on fire. End scene.
The end
of that. Because this is not the end.
No, it is not.
All right. So chapter 34, quote, this conversation isn't over. Poppy goes, I know. I have a lot of questions. Of course you do.
Of course she does.
Love that.
I know.
But they're like, apparently we haven't dished out enough and this conversation will continue again later. So then we run out to the rise and we find out that Delano has taken off with Dante and they are headed to see what is burning. And now it's just a waiting game. And then at some point, she's speaking with Jasper and they're up on the rise, I believe. And he's considering that she maybe is of a different bloodline, maybe not that type of bloodline. And he says that she smells different but familiar. And so I have it here. It says, oh, she's telling him about how her son basically, or his son basically thinks she smells of death.
Right.
And so he laughed. You do not smell of death, but you do have a different smell or scent. One I can't exactly place, but that feels familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also says, when Delano said you most likely descended from an empath bloodline and Kieran confirms such, I didn't believe them. And now I really don't. Why not? The Wolven inclined his head. Because very few empaths could actually heal with their touch. And I've never heard of an empath who glowed like the moonlight. That doesn't mean none ever did, but the ones I knew sure as hell didn't.
Yep.
That's what I have there.
And I'll just throw in
no,
really, really fast here before you move on to your next thought. She talks about how, because this is right when she starts talking to Jasper, before what you had just said, she says how the sky brings back old memories, and the sky is like, it's smoky, right? And she talks about how, in previous chapters, she talks about how, like, that night that her parents died and the Craven attack and all that stuff, that it wasn't mist. Like, she started to realize that there was a burning smell, that it was smoke. And then, so I have a quote from this chapter where it says, quote, the sky brings back old memories. And that was Jasper talking. She says, I jolted at the sound of Jasper's voice. He'd entered the parapet without me realizing. So she keeps talking about how there was like this maybe familiar voice that she's not sure about in her dreams. And then when he says the sky brings back old memories, it just makes me wonder, was he one of the ones that was there that night? And is that why she thinks that she's known him for a while, and why he thinks that he's known her for a while? Also,
I have different thoughts and theories, but
interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
that's my thought there. So you can go ahead. That was like right before she started talking with Jasper.
Okay. Oh yes, that would have been right before, but yeah, I do remember that conversation. So then Castile comes back, and then he says something about how he thinks like Jasper and possibly Kieran could be seers. So I would assume that means kind of like seeing in the future, but not fully.
Yeah, because he talks about how like they always seem to know, like be one step ahead of him basically as a child and stuff. Like they always knew what he was going to do before he did it.
Which is very interesting about why he's what he says kind of through all of this, and just how he's like so chill with the wedding and everything else that follows. So and let's see, then we have Delano comes back at some point. He is alone and he is without Dante, and he is very much hurt. Poppy does the twinkle twinkle little star thing again and heals him too. When he is in human form again, he says they're coming, the Ascended. So the Ascended are coming. We don't know how long it's going to take. Chapter 35, right?
Yep.
So Dante said, or not Dante. So Delano says Dante's dead and that this whole entire army is coming, right? And
800 strong giant
at
army.
least, yeah. And so in two different groups, and Castile is refusing to flee. He's like, I'm staying here. I'm fighting whatever for Spessa's and he's the only living heir to the throne, and mad respect, but
yeah,
do it, bud. And Poppy's basically, well, I'm staying here. I can hold my own, damn it. Like, I'm not leaving with...
Yeah, because he tried to send her off with Alistair and Kieran.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not going. And so Kieran doesn't want to go either. But basically he's like, is that an order? And he's like, yes, that's an order. So now he has to follow through with it. So Kieran and Alistair are supposed to go to the Cove town, which
they're supposed to go to Atlantia, like that, through the Skotos mountains actually to Atlantia.
Scion's Cove. So they're
Okay.
supposed to go over to, it's right inside in Atlantia and go over to
Mhm.
Scion's Cove, and they're supposed to get the army and bring them back. But Kieran's supposed to bring them back, but Alistair's supposed to go to Atlantia. He's supposed to go on ahead to Atlantia to the king and queen and let them know about the attack and
Right.
all that stuff, right?
Right.
And so they go back to the room to try and get some sleep, and he's like, no, we are not done fighting yet. We are
We need
not
to
done
finish our
with our damn
conversation.
conversation. And so they're talking some more, and it's still just some more, just like, okay, cool. It's just out. But we do find out about Shea because she finally fucking asked.
Okay, so
And
I want you to
go
explain
ahead.
this because I was no go. You're gonna be
I'm
talking the most
explaining
here.
now?
I put in here like I have some details about what happened, but I was very confused, slightly tired when I read this chapter. So I'm like, there was a lot here. So can you
Okay.
explain with some detail what actually happened here? Because I'm confused.
Okay. So from how I understood this, because I didn't take notes on this part very much at all because it was so
Okay,
much of just drama back and forth, and I
it
wanted to get to
was.
the action.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was Castile is he's locked away right under the Ascended
Mhm.
still.
Mhm.
And what happens is Shea and Malik come to get him out, right? So they have a plan to come get him out. So these two come across some guards of something of that, right?
Mhm.
And she's like, you can have Malik for my life, like take
Okay.
him and spare me, basically, right?
Okay.
But
That's
instead
where I was
of,
confused.
so then they were like, cool, so we have two Ascended for one, no big deal, right? They thought she would like book it the fuck out of there. She
Mhm.
doesn't. She goes to go get Castile. And then when her and Castile are getting out, they come across some guards and she does it again. She's like,
Mm.
let me live, let me run away, like take him, let me run away. And
Okay.
so she did it twice. So basically Castile's like, fuck this bitch, and then he kills the guards and he kills her
And
because
he talks
she,
about how he was like he was on the edge hardcore at this point, like almost crossed over into mindless
right. But
frenzy.
the thing was is
Hmm.
she was Malik's bonded.
Yep.
So her doing that was also like basically, they don't say it, but basically severing that bond because she was
Yep.
going against him and
But she's also engaged to Castile
was
at this
engaged to
time.
Castile, and
Yeah.
she's basically
Okay.
kind of a shit person, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And that's
Yep.
why it hurts. And it hurts because Malik and Alistair are the only ones that, and Kareen are the only ones that know the truth of what happened.
Right.
And
Right.
that it hurts because she's like honored as a hero and stuff like that, but that's not how it went down. She was
Okay.
anything but a hero.
Okay.
So
That makes a little bit more sense. I got caught up in the fogginess of like, who did she betray? I realized she betrayed somebody. I didn't realize she betrayed Malik
both of
first
them.
and then Castile, and
Yeah.
he was like, I'm done with this, and he killed everybody.
I'm like, that's not like the exact quotes, but that's basically what went down.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That
So it was two
clears it
betrayals.
up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So then chapter 36, we're still having conversations. And then, so basically, once again, all but saying I love you were all these cutesy things, but I did find one cute. So this is Poppy, and she goes, what I feel like, how I want to take your pain away and yet throttle you at the same moment, how your stupid dimples are infuriating, but I look at them every time you smile because I know that's a real smile. I don't know why I look forward to arguing with you, but I do. You're clever and you are kinder than even you realize. Even though I know you have earned the title of the Dark One, you are a puzzle. I want to figure you out, but at the same time, I don't. And when I realized you have so many masks, so many layers, I kept wanting to peel them back, even though I fear it will only hurt me more in the end. I don't understand any of this. Like, how do I want to stab you and kiss you at the same time? And I know you said that I deserve to be with somebody who didn't kidnap me or someone I don't want to stab, dot, dot, dot. And then he's cutesy after that too. But that's, I just thought all that was like cute and funny. And like, you can feel it too, because I've been married for long enough that
Same.
I want to strangle my husband and then just give him kisses.
But also love him to death at the same time. Yes.
I mean, yeah, love him to the edge of death and then strangle him again and then bring him back. He asked her to marry him for realsies this time.
Yeah.
Flash forward, and the next morning, Vanetta is helping her to get ready. Or this is the same day. I don't know. A lot of this confused me what was going on and what wasn't, because they weren't sleeping. They were arguing.
So fast. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know when this is. I think this is like the next day, to be completely honest.
Maybe.
But it might be that afternoon. Who knows?
Yeah.
So she's helping her get ready. And she says, "Are you ready?" And nodding, I started to follow her out, but then stopped. 1 second. Hurrying to the bed, I picked up the woven dagger and secured it around my thigh. Planning to stab him at the ceremony, Vanetta asked, "Why does everyone act like I'm seconds away from stabbing Castile?" I demanded. "Apparently, you have a habit of it." I only stabbed him a few times. I turned, fixing the skirt of the gown. The dagger was given to me by someone I care about. He was like a father to me, and in a way, he'll be with me when I do something he never thought I'd be able to do. And I thought that was
cool. Yeah, I like that part too.
Okay, chapter 37. So the clouds are rolling in before the wedding even starts.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have this wedding, which I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but
the wedding was I thought the wedding ceremony was kind of cool. There wasn't like this big, I mean, like supposedly some weddings, like Ascended or Atlantean weddings can take forever, like hours and hours, but Jasper's like, let's get this done quick. I thought it was kind of cool. They like bury the rings in the dirt, and they're both kneeling down in front of it, and then they both spill a little blood, like have a little cut over their palm. And they spill a little blood over the rings, and then they pick the rings up and put them on each other, and the blood and the dirt absorb into the rings. They become shiny again, and the mark on their hands turns golden. And
you get like a gold tattoo.
Yeah, exactly. Like supposedly the wound heals instantly, but then there's left this like golden mark, and it will not ever disappear unless one of the partners dies, or the marriage is ended by decree. So divorce.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
So then as soon as that happens, right, he basically pronounces them man and wife, right?
Yep. Nice and fast.
then, yep. And the ceremony finishes and the sky turns black as night, and it is an omen. Jasper says, "God, since your mother and father married," oh, he's talking about he hasn't seen this in so long. Like since your mother and father married, and even then, Castile, it wasn't like this. Castile lowered his gaze to the woman. "This is an omen, a powerful one." Jasper shook his head in wonder. "A good one from the king of gods." The unnatural clouds started to scatter, and the sunlight broke through as Jasper smiled. Niktos, even asleep, approves of this union.
Yeah.
Yeah. So chapter 38. Basically, they get up to the rise, and Castile says, "I will ask one thing of you, Poppy. Stay up here, no matter what. Stay up here and use the bow. And if something were to happen to me, run. Go to the cavern. Kieran will know where to find you there." That's asking two things of me. You are what they want. With you, they will be able to do harm to both Atlantia and Solus than if anything happens to me. So this is totally where I'm thinking like the cavern tunnels are going to come back in and be used at some point.
Absolutely.
Like, I didn't think it was going to happen in this book, but I do think at some point, especially about how he was saying earlier about how they tried to map him out, and like they know that one goes under the mountains, but they don't know where or how to get there, and especially with one of the goddesses sleeping under the mountain. Like it's coming back. I just don't know when. And maybe that's how she, and maybe just the caverns in general, just how she gets from point A to point B at some point too.
Yeah.
Quietly and silently. But up rolls the crew, and comes out of the carriage is fucking Duchess Tierman.
Gosh, damn it.
And then this is where I actually got nervous that like maybe Castile would be captured instead of Poppy.
Oh.
Yeah. And I know like I thought about this for like afterwards, but I do think at some point Castile's gonna get captured, and it won't be like Poppy, because I mean, how many books we got, but like somebody's getting captured by
Yeah.
the Ascended at some point. And I think it's going to be Castile. But anyway, so this
Yeah.
was kind of like where I thought it was going to happen. But Poppy, we find out from the Duchess that Poppy is the granddaughter of the Queen.
Yeah, supposedly her mom is the queen's daughter, therefore
Which makes
making
it
Poppy
better.
her granddaughter.
Uh-huh. And then basically, like, she won't come out of hiding or whatever. They're like, we know you have her here or whatever. And then she's like, let's give you our gifts. And then the catapults throw up some stuff, and it is the people of New Haven. It is their heads that come up. And it's, yes, that when the last line it says Elijah, and I went, because I had like totally forgot, because at first I was like, okay, they should be here by now, and like I forgot. And I think that's what you're supposed to do, is forget that they should be there by now.
Yeah, I agree. I was the same.
And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So basically, so chapter 39, we just roll right into it. So the fight breaks out, the fighting starts, right?
Yeah, kind
And
of a short chapter, like it just all starts.
Yeah. She basically gives the bow to Quentin, who's also a fantastic shot. She says, cover my back. Fantastic. He does.
Yeah, she says, I'm going in.
He does his damn job, and she says, fuck it, and heads down in there to save her
Exactly
man,
what
I
she's not
guess.
supposed to do. And he's like, but Cass told you not to go. And she's like, he would expect nothing less from me.
Yeah. And she ends up fighting next to him or whatever. And he's like, okay, fine, fuck it. This is what you're gonna do. This is what you can do, right?
Yep.
And then so they get to the point where they are hiding under a catapult. Oh, I think I'm rolling into chapter 40, but shit's not.
That's okay.
Good,
we're
right?
ready to roll in, I think, because
Yeah.
like basically 39 is the battle starts, and here we
And
are.
then chapter 40, we're still there, and so shit's looking bad. And the second helping of the Ascended has arrived, and this is basically where they're deciding. He's like, okay, fuck Cespa's End, like, you're my priority, I'm gonna get you out.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll go with you. So they're gonna run away, right? So they're gonna fight their way out. And so they're basically surrounded, and she feels all the emotions of all the ones around her, and some of them are like mortal, and they're just scared, like, that they just have to do this, like they don't have a choice. It's like you fight or die, basically. And she has this feeling that like she's gonna explode, and she needs to shut these off. And so I have the quote, and it says, and something was happening inside of me. It was waking up, stretching and expanding, filling my veins and causing my skin to hum as I leapt forward, slamming the woven dagger deep into a chest, swallowing the soldier's spear, and drowning in his agony, in their fear and agony. And then kind of a couple more things, but basically this is all just expanding for her. And says, as something exploded from deep within me, inhaling all the fear and agony and primal emotions, and all of it rose inside me. So this is all coming into her, right? The swirling, churning mass of emotions clawed at my insides, my throat, and I needed to shut it down. I had to shut it all off. And so this is basically when she's like, stop, or basically she has a dagger to her throat, and she's like, I'll end it all, and then you'll have nothing, basically.
Yeah, because their goal is to find her and capture her, not to kill her. So she's like, I'll kill myself, and it's all over.
Yep. And so everything is just kind of like almost comes to a complete stop. And timing is everything, because this is when all the Wolven show up, and the Atlantean army comes in right behind them. The Wolven are just coming out of the trees, coming out of the woodwork. She didn't even know that there were so many. And this is the backup that Kareen and Alistair went to get, that they didn't know if they'd make it back in time or whatever. And Kareen comes to her first before he goes to Castile, and he like kind of like nudges at her hand multiple times. And she's like, yeah, I'm okay, or whatever, or something. And then
married, he's like, oh, you're married. That's what he was nudging at her, married.
Yeah, that's what she thought at first, but I don't think that's it in the end.
Okay.
But and so she makes it, she beats him to the carriage. She beats Castile to the carriage, right? So she goes inside, and the Duchess says basically that her brother is with Malik. And possibly one of them is dead. And Tawny may have ascended. And so then after that, the Duchess says, "You're married to the Prince of Atlantia." Pitch black eyes lifted to mine as a wide smile broke out across her face, revealing the fangs of both her upper and lower jaw. "If I'd known none of this would have been necessary. You, born of flesh and fire. The Queen will be so thrilled to learn you've done what she could never accomplish. Seized Atlantia right out from under them. Under her. Our Queen will be so proud of ...
Mm-hmm.
Which I have so much to think about. And of course, we don't get much because she kills her, whatever.
Right.
Castile comes in just like raging, and he's like, "You beat me here, basically, or you beat me to it." And then it becomes a shaggin' wagon, which is awkward. So there you go.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And I have a thought, like, so why is the Duchess saying that Ian is with Malik? If Malik is being held because of his Atlantean blood, to help with making the Ascended, why would Ian be with them? So my thoughts on this is that Ian is her brother, and they find out that he also had Atlantean blood, and that potentially he never did ascend or get married, and that they're allowing him to like forcing him to write letters to Poppy to make it seem like everything's fine, but that he is also being held for his Atlantean blood with
That was
Malik.
kind of my thought too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the Tawny thing was just to get under her skin.
I think so.
I don't think she has. And then the whole the last part of it where she's talking about the Prince of Atlantia.
Uh-huh.
If I'd had known, none of this would have been necessary. You, born of flesh and fire, the Queen will be so thrilled. So born of flesh and
Right.
fire.
Right.
Flesh and fire.
Uh-huh.
Something that she could have never accomplished. Seized Atlantia right out from under them. Under her.
Mm-hmm.
Our Queen will be so proud of you. So my thought is Isabeth was the first vampire, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
So my thought on this was Isabeth was the mistress that was trying to basically get both kingdoms at some point, or how to get both kingdoms of some sort. And that's what she was trying to do. And so if Poppy is in relation to some sort and it didn't work out with her mother, and they had to kill her mother and obviously her dad, which I'm assuming would be some sort of Atlantean of some sort.
Right, I agree.
And then yeah, they're trying to get both kingdoms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then since she married it, then technically she would have both. But is it right out from under them, under her? Would that be basically the mistress is mad and wants, what is it? What's Castile's mom's name?
Eleona.
Wanted her crown, right? Because she's Queen of Atlantia.
Mm-hmm.
So taking that from her. And I think that's kind of almost what it pushes towards in the end, when the Queen is like, this isn't basically like, this isn't good, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Here's my crown, basically. That's kind of what it made me think of. Like,
and
I knew they were
was
coming for this.
married.
They were coming for me.
And she was married to King Malik, the original king who created the first vampire.
But it's like, we don't hear much about like any of the kings, but we're hearing about the queens.
True.
So it just kind of makes me wonder if this is kind of like a, you know how like in some things like kings are the actual rulers or whatever, and the queens are just a side piece. Like, I'm kind of wondering if it's more like the queens are actually the rulers and the kings are just side pieces.
Well, also I was thinking about this because like, isn't one of our books that's coming up in this series called The War of Two Queens? I'm pretty sure one of the books is actually called The War of Two Queens.
Oh yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then, damn. Okay, so okay, well, yeah, now I feel stupid, but
no, it's just, yeah, no, good thoughts for sure.
okay.
I think you're on the money here.
Yeah, but on that note, we should probably keep going.
Okay, 41.
So Chapter 41. Apparently, like I said, the Wolven heard her calling them, and that is
Yep.
how they were able to get there. And I knew it. And I don't remember when I thought I called this, like with the Wolven thing. Oh, I do. So back in, I think it was the first book when and they mentioned this about how Delano, remember,
Yep.
he's outside and he hears the
Yep.
wind blowing. Yes. And I was like, something's up with that, because it was her inside, like yelling and screaming, and she was getting really frustrated and all this stuff
Because she was locked in. Yeah.
because she was locked in. And I was like, I feel like it
Back in
was
New
her
Haven.
at some point projecting that to him.
Yep. You
And
did
so,
call that.
yeah.
It
And
surprised me when this realization came through this chapter, because I was like, oh, I remembered it after they said it, but I didn't think
yeah,
about
and I
it.
thought it was really interesting about how it said like all the Wolven came out of the woods just then, or something
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then so this is Castile basically telling her about it. So he says, "You remember when the Wolven showed up during the battle? How could I forget about that? Glad you haven't, because that was when you had whatever." Anyway, so he goes, we had this covered. Yeah, we did. But Kieran told me he had heard you calling him. He said the other Wolven felt it too. So Kieran hears it,
Mm-hmm.
but the other Wolven feel it.
Mm-hmm.
They all veered in our direction. Jasper confirmed it. He said the same thing. I was obviously feeling a lot in that moment. I felt like, I don't know, I felt like I was about to lose control, but how is that even possible? And then basically saying that like none of this has ever happened before. Don't know how they could have picked that up from you. The wolves don't even know how this happened or
Mm-hmm.
why. But they both said that they felt you're calling for them, calling for help.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, Delano, oh my God. And he says, what? When we were in New Haven and I was kept in the bedroom, he burst inside at one point, swearing he heard me calling for him, but I had figured it was just the wind.
Mm-hmm.
On to chapter 42. We are headed back to Atlanta. We're headed home. I don't know what I just said. I'm at Atlantia. And
You said it right. You're good.
yeah, we're about to go through the mist, right? And we're with this group of people. And I liked how who do we have? Beckett is back in his wolven puppy form.
Yes.
And she's like kind of starting to freak out, right? And he runs into the mist. And then she like starts to freak out for a second. And then he just like starts popping over the mist and stuff like that. And you could just like I could just see like a puppy dog doing that. And it just
Yeah.
was so funny. But anyway, he gives her a little handy dandy trick to get through the mist, but not like a full handy dandy trick, just a little one.
Yeah.
And then they get to the other side of the mist and she's no longer scared of it. And there's a bunch of golden trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are the trees of Eos, a goddess of love, fertility, and beauty. And they grew in the foothills and throughout the Skotos Mountains when she went to sleep deep underground. And some believe that she is sleeping under the highest peak,
Yep.
which comes in later. And then they kind of mention about how these trees are around the chambers of Nyktos. And she asks what that is. And it's a temple just beyond the pillars and no one really knows where Nyktos sleeps.
Because Nyktos is supposedly like the god of the
He's the
gods, basically.
yes,
He's like the
king
father of the gods, the king of the
Yeah.
gods. There you
Yeah.
go. Mm-hmm.
And so then they split up for some whatever reason. We don't really know why, but they split up into two different groups. There's
I
like
think they did
Delano.
say why. It's because like it keeps from like setting off the alarm basically of the mist. Because it can't
Oh,
be too
okay.
big of groups that go through. So they have to like split up into smaller groups so they don't like set off the alarm.
Okay. Yeah, there's like Amal and Beckett, Delano and Nail, I think. And then
Jasper.
and then Jasper's in there with somebody. Yeah, and then there's so it's Poppy, Castile, and Kareen, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So they get up to the top of the pass, and it's you can't see through this mist, right? And they're getting
Yeah,
ready
they're
to go
like
to
not
sleep.
through the thickest, like they're through the thickest part of it, but the mist is still very much there.
Yes, and she can't see in front of her face, but
Uh-huh.
Kareen and Castile can, right?
Yeah.
And so she's kind of sitting on her bedroll or whatever, and she's just like basically waiting, and she's starting to like play with the mist, right? And it's playing back.
Yeah.
And then through conversation with them, we find out that the mist is basically magic of the gods. And in a sense, she's like, how can there still be magic here if the gods are sleeping? And he's like, this in the shortest story ever possible is that it's a level of consciousness. Who can you say that word for me? Because we are not doing this again.
Consciousness.
So it is a level
You
of
put it in
that.
there.
Oh, I know I did because it's from the book, and now I'm
A
having
level of
flashbacks.
consciousness of the gods
Yes.
while they sleep.
Yes, so that way we don't have to cut out 4 hours of me trying to say that damn word again. So it's the mist is created based and the mist was created to protect the pillars of Atlantia. Okay.
And they also are like, when she's like, oh, look, it's reacting to me, it's playing with me. And they're like, that's dumb. That doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen. It's just like it's in your mind because the mist plays tricks on you,
it does.
supposedly. Yeah. And so anyway, so they're laying down, they're trying to go to sleep or whatever. And
a poppy sandwich is how I'm imagining.
It's a poppy sandwich. We have a poppy sandwich because they're trying to keep her warm, which makes sense.
It does. It totally makes sense.
It makes sense. And she asks if any of the gods are asleep under the blood forest, and there's none that the boys know of. Yeah. And then she kind of asks, does anybody know where Penelope sleeps? And
which is one of the gods.
Yeah, nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows where she sleeps either. And but when she asks if anybody knows where Penelope sleeps, Kareen goes, obviously not here, or something like that. Like basically meaning like, shut up, bitch. It's
shut up and go to
bedtime.
sleep. Obviously, Penelope is not sleeping.
And I thought that was so damn funny. And then at some point she asked about Theos.
Yes, Theos or whatever.
Theos. And so that one and the twin sister are supposedly sleeping under the pillars of Atlantia.
Yes.
And then Kareen says something about like, we're not doing this. You're not going to ask.
This is not 100 questions time.
This is not time for 100 questions.
Go to
and she's
sleep.
like, well, I can't go to sleep. They're always like, go to sleep.
Gosh, this made me think of my children. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop asking me questions.
Exactly.
It is bedtime.
It is bedtime.
It's like that his
book,
pain in that moment.
Sleep.
Yes.
Anyway, so at some point she falls asleep, right? And then she wakes up to this warm, weird cuddle session that they're having, which I think was so funny because she mentioned something about how she remembered Castile saying something about how Kareen kicks in his sleep when he shifts into his animal form. And she's like, oh crap, I hope he doesn't do that or whatever.
Yeah.
But she's warm, so she doesn't mind because she's now warm. She's no longer cold. She's warm because it's a poppy sandwich.
Poppy sandwich.
And then she falls back asleep.
And then she wakes. I mean, she drifts off to sleep, and she hears, like, as she's drifting off, she hears a strange voice calling Poppy. And that's how that chapter ends.
Yeah. So 43, we are back in the nightmare from the night that her parents died.
Yep.
And she ends up following this man is what I have that is taking her somewhere, right? And then there is this all of a sudden there is this red-haired woman with silver glowing eyes stops her and tells her to basically take what is hers to learn the truth and then go home. And I have it here. So it says the mist had thickened in front of me, a whirling, churning mass. Specks of gold blinked in and out from within. No further, the voice whispered. A voice so pure it was almost unbearable to hear. What you seek is not to be found here. Stop. The mist solidified, took form, and became more golden. It was tall. She was tall. Tumbling waves of hair, the color of fire, twined together. A face blurred, but eyes the color of molten silver burned through the mist. Through me. Go home. Take what is yours, and you will find what you seek there. The truth. Go home. And so basically the boys all of a sudden are there and is able to wake her or shake her out of this or whatever before she walks off a fucking cliff.
Yeah.
And they didn't see anyone, right? And so they're like freaking out. And so they're like trying to pull her away from the edge or whatever. And then all of a sudden there's basically like an earthquake or whatever. And Karina's like, who did you say you saw? Who stopped you? And she goes, I don't know who it was, but it was a woman. I told him, why? He goes, because that was a god, Karine said hoarsely, returning to their place of rest.
Yeah.
So then basically after that, they meet up with the others when they get
Chapter
basically the other
44
side of the
now,
mountain.
I think, right?
Nope, this is still in that same
Oh,
chapter,
you're right.
but
This is still okay.
yeah, they meet up with the others and they all felt the earthquake and they all had weird dreams that night as well. Like none of them had slept well because they had weird dreams. Which I want to know what everybody's dream was about.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, they get up to the pillars of Atlantia, like they see them, and she says a sense of wonder washed over me, one that ran deeper than curiosity as we drew closer. I closed my shadowy I could see shadowy grooves in them, markings in a language I'd never seen before. The pillars were more than just markers or even the resting place of Theon and Lila. They were connected to a wall of the same stone, what appeared to be limestone and marble. It was as high as any rise and continued on further than I could see. We crested the hill and I saw between the two pillars, seeing what awaited. Tiny bumps rose all over my skin as a hum seemed to vibrate in my blood in a long forgotten hymn. So that I thought was interesting. And there's a lot of like the deja vu comment and like the long forgotten hymn, like some things like that. And he says, welcome home, princess, basically. And that's how the chapter ends.
Yeah.
So moving right on to 2 more chapters, guys. We got this.
Two more.
So chapter 44. So Alistair basically, like, they get there and Alistair basically needs to talk to Castile privately, right? And she's like, it's fine, it's whatever. His parents are there in this, what is it, Scion Bay?
Yeah. And they're not supposed to be. They were supposed to have some time before they met the parents.
Yeah. Yep. Because
they were supposed
Alistair
to make it brought them. Again,
Alistair brought them down.
Alistair's character. Sorry,
but no, he said that they were going to come because they were afraid that Castile was in trouble.
That's right. He says how he couldn't even keep he barely kept the king from going to Spessa's End himself.
Yes. So Becca offers to take her to go see the chambers of Nikos.
Yep.
And so she's in there, whatever. And she's talking about like basically how beautiful this is or whatever. And then she turns around and he's not there. And she's like, oh shit, because there's Atlanteans.
And real quick, she does realize she reads Beckett's emotions.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he felt uneasy. And there was some fear there. And she thought it was because of her.
Yeah.
But there was not the same, like, she was hoping to find friendship and trust and stuff like that from him because he was like, I'll take you, you know, it's not a big deal. But she found fear and a sense of unease. So go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, there's this big statue of Nikos or whatever. And I think all the gods were there, but Nikos is the biggest one. And they all are like holding some type of torch or something, but none of them are lit. And but she's looking out back behind it, I guess, and she can see like the bay and like some islands off in the distance. And she's just thinking, this is so beautiful, right? Turns around, Beckett's not there anymore, but there's a whole bunch of Atlanteans all in white, and they have some daggers, right? And she realizes this is a trap, right? So they basically start stoning her, and they're basically calling her a whore and all these things. And then the thunder and the lightning starts to roll in, and all their emotions are rolling into her again, just kind of like before. She feels like she's going to explode. And so this is when I put in my own notes, I said, this is when she's going to call the Wolven in again. So I do. This was like before this even happened. I said she's going to call the Wolven again. She has some kind of connection to them for sure. So this was kind of like my, like, this has got to be what's happened. And of course that is kind of what happens. And so like there's blood falling to the ground, right? And it's supposedly like these tears of the gods, right? I don't know if you had anything else into that, but I was gonna just hit
Not
the other
on
one.
that part. I just had one little note. Once
Okay.
again, I'm sorry. I just gotta throw
No,
it out
you're
there
good.
one last time here. Alistair meets them in Atlantia before Beckett takes her and whatnot, to the chambers.
Mhm.
And Poppy says in the book, she notes how when he talks, a shivering feeling of icy fingers dances across the back of her neck, and how he sounds so much like Victor, but dot 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 dot.
Oh, I must have missed that one. A Tingle Watch I missed. I can't
I
believe it.
guess, yeah. I'm like,
Okay.
there's just something shady about this dude. Okay, that's all
Something.
I had.
Okay, yeah. That would be, yeah, I must have missed that one. That one's definitely. But yeah, so it is. It's the tears of the gods. And so that's what one of the Atlanteans says, right? And he goes,
Yep.
so they think it's some kind of omen, and it's an omen to kill her, but they will have to die doing so.
I missed that.
And so they're ready to go, right? They're ready to rock and roll. So they're coming after her, and she just is pissed off. She's taking all their emotions, right? They're just coming into her, and these invisible cords that normally connect her to the others of and their emotions or whatever.
Mhm. That are visible to her, but nobody else.
Yes, but now they are visible to everyone,
Mhm,
and they're
mhm.
silver, and it's a connection. You can see it, and
Yeah.
she's glowing. Her eyes are glowing. Everything's glowing, and it's glowing into the charged air around her. It's glowing into the floor around her, and there's thunder that starts shaking everything.
And can I mention that before the cords have been golden?
The
She's
what?
always mentioned before how the cords have been a golden color before when she's read emotions. It's like
I
a
must have missed
golden
that one,
color.
but okay.
Yep. So now they're
Yeah.
silver.
Now they're silver.
Yep.
And then she's just like, she's done. So she sends it all back into them, and it ends up killing them all. And then the bells start ringing, going off, because we have basically, like, I call it a church bell earlier. And she's like, what was that? And they're like, it rings 6 times, and that means it's 6 o'clock or whatever. But now
Tells
these bells
the
are,
time.
these bells are just ringing, right?
Yeah,
And then
like an
there's a
alarm.
big old crack behind her, and up comes a blood tree. Okay. She watches it just like grow and bloom. And then hundreds and hundreds of wolven arrive. She says, like, it kind of starts off slow, and then there's just more and more and more, and they arrive, and they kind of start to circle her. And then the big giant one comes in, and it's Jasper, and she just knows it, right? And then so all of a sudden they're like sniffing her and trying to check her out and circling her. And Castile comes up, and he's like, oh shit, right? And then we have the other Atlanteans arrive, and the king and queen. And she says in this that, I think this is important, Castile reminds her of the god Theon. Theon. Sorry, Theon. And I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
And then Castile kneels, as do all the wolven, or at least they get up on their haunches, because some of these other Atlanteans are starting to approach her.
Yep.
And it's like they are defending her. And then the queen comes up, and she removes her crown and sets it on the ground in front of the Nikos statue or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it instantly turns, oh no. So first, all the statues that had the little torches or whatever, so all those light up. And then her crown goes into flames. So the white bone or whatever then comes down and burns down to what did it say? Gilded bones or whatever. No, so now the crown is gilded bones or whatever.
Yes.
And the last lines of the book, the queen says, lower your swords and bow before the ... before the last descendant of the most ancient ones, she who carries the blood of the king of gods within her. Bow before your new queen. I almost threw everything because I moved.
I heard it.
And I almost threw my mic. And let me tell you, I like almost flipped my whole damn book when I like turned to the next page and there's not shit. I was like, wah!
I know. And I've been wondering for a while now if she was actually like, again, I just need to say the damn thing, but I've been wondering for a while now if she's actually like a god or a deity at least. Like, is that what this is?
This is, is she, oh, okay. So I have so many questions, because like, okay, so like saying about how like these things are familiar and deja vu and like, what
And she's
if
known all these people from the beginning, and like they all seem familiar. And
yes, and about how he keeps, she's said it, I think, more than once about like Castile looks like he could be a god or like things
yeah,
like that. That I do. I wonder if this is some weird like reliving type thing, or they carry those gods and goddesses with them or what, but like she's named after one, but they don't know where she
yes,
sleeps. And like, okay, anytime that she has done something, a blood tree grows up behind her, right?
yeah,
Remember, there's the one
in New
when,
Haven.
yep, when she basically is doing what she can to save the poor boy,
The
but
two
that,
times that she has stood up against the Ascended and fought back. Or, well, I guess not two times.
no,
The one time during the Ascended, and then when she's fought for her
this
life. The
one when
two
she's
times
fought
she's
for her
fought for
life.
her life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like more than just, well, I mean, I guess you could say, well, no, they weren't trying to kill her either. But these ones were trying to kill her. You're right. These
Yeah.
ones were trying to kill her. But yeah. So and
Well, and
but
then she
see,
made the comment of, where does Penelope sleep? And then she also made the comment of like, where is there any gods that sleep under the Blood Forest?
and like so that connection's
So
wild. But
yeah.
like just like okay, so like back to my like queens thing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That's who talks and tells us this queen sets her crown down because
Mm-hmm.
she knows exactly what she is. She knows exactly what Poppy is.
Yeah.
Because I think like slightly before that, she goes, "What have you done? What have you brought here?"
Yep.
And she's speaking to Castile. So it's like she knows what this is, but like just the way all of a sudden all the wolves are protective of her
Yeah.
and all that kind of thing. So now she basically runs all the wolven, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait, man. And that is my husband snoring. Yep. Okay. So we'll throw something at him, but I'm excited and I don't care. We'll wake him up in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but ending thoughts. I mean, what do you have moving forward? Like, what do you think we're going to see in the next book?
I don't know, because this blindsided me. I
Oh,
did
really?
I kept thinking like maybe she's a deity, maybe she's a god of some sort. Like the connection between her name and the goddess that we don't know where she is, and all these things. I kept thinking like maybe she is something. But then when it actually happened, I was like, no way. No way. This is crazy. So I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know, because any thoughts I had, like, kind of are blown
Kind
to
of went out the
pieces
window.
now
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah. I guess the only other finishing thought I have is that Alistair's bad.
You think Alice is bad?
I've said it many times
Yeah.
tonight. That somehow, being influential in the Wolvens, that he's going to try to fight against her from the inside somehow. But that's probably the only
Right.
other thought I have. What about you?
Um, kind of just because you mentioned that because of Alistair, like it seemed like he was more loyal to the queen if
Mm-hmm.
he broke that bond or whatever, the unbreakable bond,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to basically tattletale to the queen what about what the king was doing
Mm-hmm.
with Elizabeth, then that is interesting. Now thinking kind of what I'm thinking about how like the queens are running the show here,
Yeah.
that is interesting as well. That you could be right on that now that I'm thinking about that, which sucks because well shit, how y'all doing? It's just still he's still just little Leslie Jordan and I love it. But okay, so like my thoughts are for like the next book, or maybe it's not the next book, but at some point, like I think I was telling you, somebody's gonna get captured.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be Castile 100%. And I think that that means that she has to go save him, and that means Kareem gets to go with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot wait for their little adventure because even though it'll be traumatic, I think it'll be a good time.
That poor guy's got to get a chance to go on some sort of adventure here soon, right? He keeps getting
Yes.
sent away.
Yes, he keeps getting sent away. And so he's gonna, but I think this joining thing or whatever is gonna happen. And so then he'll be
Yeah.
duty bound to her. And then they'll be like, let's go get our man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah, I don't know.
but
But we
it's
still have what, 4
so good.
books
We
plus the
have
extra books in
we
between?
have
4 in this series, right? And then
Well, yeah,
well,
4 is
'cause
not out yet, but
the
4, yeah.
6th one comes out in September. But yeah,
Yeah.
4. So 4 in this Blood and Ash series, and then
And then 4 the Flesh and Fire
4 in the
series.
Flesh and Fire. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know though. It's wild. I love in it though. But
It's good.
so overall, I mean, I think I meant to give it more, but I wrote down that I gave it 4.25 stars. And I think the only reason it wasn't like close to a 5 was because of just all the back and forth, like saying everything but I love you shit. I
Yeah.
absolutely hate that.
Yep. Same.
And like I want to know answers, but I'm not going to ask the questions. I can't do that stuff. It
Nope.
bugs the shit out of me. So I think that's kind of why it was low for me. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I would say I would give it the same rating as you, and for the same reasons. Everything
the
about
same
this book
reason.
was amazing, except
Yeah.
for those parts irritated
Yeah.
me so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I liked it even more than the last one. And I mean, I liked the last one a lot too.
Yeah, this is a good book.
This was a good book. But yeah, so this one we will also probably put on the fire spicy level.
Yeah,
which
for
means
sure.
there is definitely some open door romance and some intimate scenes, but there is still plot to our book. So
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. But I would say that this one was also slightly more gory and stuff like that too. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but definitely not for the super weak stomached ones, especially poor Elijah and Magda.
Magda.
Magda. I got it eventually.
Yeah.
But, all right.
And cry counter.
Yeah. Where are you at? I'm at 0.
0.
Okay, cool. I feel like that could change, but
we have a lot of books coming, so
yeah. I was surprised. I kind of figured you might have a half a tier for Majda and Elijah.
No, there's certain things that get me, and that wasn't one of them.
That one surprised me. I was actually like, I think it was because like I was like, I can't forget about these people. I can't forget about these people. And that's exactly what I did. And then I got surprised and I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
I tried not to do that. But all right.
All right. So that about wraps it up for tonight's discussion. We hope you're all enjoying the series so far. We are first-time readers to the series, so we hope that you follow along with us, or if you've already read the series, we hope that our discussions can be a refresher for you before book 6 comes out in September.
Make sure to join us on Facebook and Instagram for more fun and conversations, as well as our club on the Fable app, where you can discuss with us spoiler-free chapter by chapter. Next episode, we will be discussing book 3 in the Blood and Ash series by Jennifer Armentrout, A Crown of Gilded Bones. We're taking this one slightly slower, so this will be a 3-part book. So we will be doing first off chapters 1 through 16. So that means your bookmark should go at chapter 17.
Yep.
So read all the way through 16.
And if you are enjoying reading along with us or just enjoying our conversations and theories, be sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button on your way out.
And buddy reading any book with book besties is so much fun.
So make sure to share our podcast with your book besties. And if you don't have any book besties,
then consider yourself one of ours. And until next time, fill those drinks with ice.
And your books with spice.
Bye.
Bye.
Can we just say I'm so glad that my husband will put my bookmark in the page that I fall asleep on here at about 3 a.m.